Hi there, and welcome to Yearly Reviews, a show where I go through all the games that I played through the year of 2020 1 week at a time. So without further ado, let's see what we're reviewing this week. This is going to be a unique one. As you might tell, the music here is actually from the game we're reviewing today, so it's kind of a special occasion. But first off, let's talk about the Punch-Out series for a second. In my opinion, this is the most underrated franchise Nintendo has made. Most of the games in this series are timeless classics. We have the original on the NES, which everybody loves, then we got Super Punch-Out, which was decent, and then we got my favourite, Punch-Out Wii, which is a masterpiece in my mind, and then we got nothing. We're probably not going to get another Punch-Out game. But what if Little Mac wasn't a human, but a duck? Well then, we've got Pato Box, which is the closest we'll get to another Punch-Out game. In this game, we control a man named Pato, who was a former boxer in his heyday, until one day he is outclassed by an opponent named Kilpatrick. They both work with an evil corporation named Deathlock, until one day Pato was stabbed several times and left to die in the streets. That is, until a former Deathlock employee comes across him, a nurse called Faith. Together, they devise a plan to take down every major power player in Deathlock with the only thing Pato knows, some good old-fashioned fighting. Oh, and Pato is also a duck. I mean, after all, the title, when translated from Spanish, literally means boxing duck. The main thing this game had to do right was the combat. That was the main selling point and what most of the gameplay consists of, and thankfully it does this well. You only have a basic moveset where you duck, dodge, and punch your opponent, but the game makes up for it with a constant range of unique bosses. Some examples include Varudki, a creature in a gas mask which can attack you in both the foreground and the background, Kilpatrick, where most of his attacks consist of standard boxing moves, and my favourite boss, Dr. Plaganates. Plaganates is the most unique as it's more of a rhythm-based minigame where you have to avoid projectiles in time, and then hit an exposed weak point with one of the best boss themes I've heard in a while. There's also another boss later on in the game that's pretty good, but that's spoiler territory right there. There are segments in between the main boss battles which are a bit dull to complete. Some are pretty okay, but I'm more so just wanting to get to the next boss. But there is one thing about this game that I have to mention. Pato Box is hard as balls. The one big piece of advice I would have to give to anyone who wants to play it is be prepared to die. A lot. In fact, I'm pretty sure the difficulty is the main reason why many people don't play this game. When this game was on trial, at least when I think it was on trial, there was only one boss you could face, that was the chef boss, PT Kanatra. But there's one little thing. PT Kanatra is the worst and hardest boss in the game. I think many people just became fed up and think this will be the first boss and decided, nope. There have been times where I wanted to quit the game because of how hard it was, but since the rules said I had to complete every game for this show, and the rules were made by me, so they're pretty redundant, I had to beat it. But I am glad I decided to stick to it in the end because, I can't stress this enough, Pato Box is an extraordinarily great game. It's one of the most unique games, one of the most challenging games, and I don't mean to over exaggerate, but it might also just be one of, if not the most underrated game I've ever played. I mean, it's not every day where you play a game where you take down an evil corporation as the duck version of Mike Tyson. It's not for everyone, and god, the difficulty is practically unfair at times, but the end result is oh so satisfying. And also, as I mentioned before, this is probably the closest we'll get to a new Punch-Out game, so I do recommend fans of the franchise check it out if you can. But please, do play the game and show it some love. It needs it. Hey folks, thanks for sticking to the end of this review. If you like what you saw here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys making comments on these videos. They make up my day and I read every single one of them. If you like what you saw here, feel free to look at the newest review and look at the latest review. And if you want to watch more, feel free to hit that bell so you know when a new review drops. See ya and thanks for watching.